You tell yourself you're just not an angry person. You stay composed when others lose control. You swallow irritation like it's nothing. But sometimes, something small sets you off, and the reaction feels bigger than the moment. It surprises everyone. It even surprises you. Maybe it's a comment that sounds dismissive, or someone interrupting you again, or being asked for one more favor when you're already exhausted. And suddenly your voice is sharper. Your chest feels tight. Your words come out faster than you planned. And afterward, there's silence. You replay it later in your head. Why did I react like that? It wasn't even a big deal. You tell yourself you overreacted. You promise to be calmer next time. But beneath the guilt, there's confusion. Because you thought you were calm. The truth is more complex. Calm people don't lack anger. They often lack permission to feel it. And when emotion has no outlet, it doesn't disappear. It stores itself quietly, like pressure in a sealed container. Most of the time, you manage well. You're patient. You listen. You compromise. You smooth things over. You become the stable one in the room. But stability has a cost. In daily life, it looks admirable. You don't argue. You avoid confrontation. You tell people, it's fine. You let small disappointments slide. You downplay hurt feelings. You keep the peace. Over time, something subtle shifts. You start feeling tired around certain people, not because they're loud, but because you're holding something back. Your body feels heavier after interactions. Your mind replays conversations at night, and you don't know why. Psychology calls this suppression, not the healthy kind of regulation, but emotional inhibition, where the feeling is present, yet you push it down. You label it unnecessary or inconvenient. From the outside, you look calm. Inside, there's quiet friction. It shows up in small ways. Sarcasm you didn't intend. Cold withdrawal instead of honest words. A sudden snap over something minor, then regret. This pattern isn't random. It's learned. Often early in life. Maybe anger wasn't safe to express. Maybe it led to punishment, or chaos, or rejection. So your brain adapted. It decided calmness equals safety. If you don't show anger, you won't lose connection. You won't escalate conflict. You won't become too much. That adaptation worked. But here's the part no one explains. Adaptations don't disappear when they outlive their purpose. They become habits, automatic responses. Even when you're no longer in danger, your brain still runs the old script. And you don't question it. You are not broken. You are not secretly unstable. Your outbursts are not proof of hidden aggression. They are signals. Signals that something has been unacknowledged for longer than your nervous system can handle. And your body finally speaks. To understand this, you have to look at how the brain processes anger. Anger is not a primary emotion. It often protects something softer: hurt, fear, shame. When you feel disrespected, the amygdala detects threat, not physical threat. Social threat, loss of status, loss of fairness, loss of control. The amygdala doesn't debate. It signals the body quickly. Heart rate rises, muscles tense, attention narrows. This is preparation, a readiness to act. In healthy regulation, the prefrontal cortex steps in. It evaluates context. Is this worth reacting to? Is there another interpretation? It slows the impulse. It creates space. But suppression works differently. Instead of processing the signal, you override it. You tell yourself, it's not a big deal. Just ignore it. And the surface becomes still. Here's the metaphor. Imagine anger as steam in a pressure cooker. Regulation is adjusting the heat and releasing steam gradually. Suppression is tightening the lid. The heat stays on. The pressure builds silently. The mental model is simple. Unprocessed emotion equals stored activation. Stored activation increases baseline stress. Higher baseline stress lowers tolerance. Lower tolerance means smaller triggers produce larger reactions. That's the cycle. Think about a day when you finally snap. It's rarely the first irritation. It's the 10th or the 20th, each one small. Each one swallowed, until the container is full. This is why calm people can appear explosive, not because they feel more anger, but because they delay it. The brain accumulates unresolved signals. When the threshold is crossed, the response bypasses reflection. It goes straight to discharge. There's also a memory component. The brain links similar experiences. If today's situation resembles an old one, even slightly, the emotional intensity can amplify. You're reacting to layers, not just the present moment. You might think, I'm overreacting. But often, you're under-processing. Your system has been quiet for too long, and silence is not the same as peace. It's paused conflict. So what can you do? Not to become louder, not to become aggressive, but to become integrated, where calmness is real, not enforced, and anger becomes information. First principle, notice micro-irritations. Small moments matter. When someone interrupts you, pause internally. Name it. That bothered me. Why it works. Labeling emotion reduces amygdala activity and increases prefrontal engagement. In daily life, that might mean writing one sentence in your phone. Felt dismissed in meeting. You don't act yet, you just acknowledge. That small act prevents accumulation. It releases a little steam. Second principle, differentiate regulation from suppression. Ask yourself, am I choosing not to react? Or am I afraid to react? Fear-based inhibition activates threat circuits. Choice-based regulation activates control networks. The difference matters neurologically. If you decide not to respond immediately, tell yourself why. I'll bring this up later calmly. This signals intentional delay, not denial. The brain registers agency. Agency reduces stored tension. Third principle, practice low-stakes expression. Start small. Correct a minor misunderstanding. Say, actually, that didn't sit right with me. Why it works? Exposure reduces threat sensitivity. Repeated safe expression rewires fear associations. The brain learns anger doesn't equal rejection. At first it feels uncomfortable. Your heart might race. But if the outcome is neutral or positive, your nervous system updates its prediction. Next time, the activation is lower. Confidence replaces dread. Fourth principle, track physical buildup. Anger often registers in the body first. Tight jaw, shallow breath, clenched hands. Interoceptive awareness strengthens emotional processing. It catches signals earlier. When you notice tension, take 3 slow breaths. Not to calm down completely, but to create space. Breathing stimulates the vagus nerve. It reduces sympathetic activation. It widens your response window. Fifth principle, repair after rupture. If you do snap, don't collapse into shame. Say, I reacted strongly because I've been holding things in. Why it works? Honest repair restores social safety. Safety lowers future defensive spikes. Integration replaces suppression. Over time, something shifts. Your calmness feels different, less brittle, less forced. You don't fear your own anger because you're not stockpiling it. You're processing it. The larger mental model becomes clear. Anger is data. Suppression is storage. Expression with awareness is integration. Integration prevents explosion. Calmness then becomes authentic, not fragile. You realize something important. Explosive outbursts were not personality flaws. They were delayed messages. Your nervous system asking for acknowledgement, for boundaries, for honesty, for balance. There's a quiet strength in being someone who rarely yells, but there's deeper strength in someone who can say, that hurt, or I disagree, before the pressure builds. You don't need to become louder. You don't need to become confrontational. You need to become responsive to yourself first, to the signal beneath the surface. The soft emotion anger protects, the boundary it points toward. And maybe the real question was never, why did I explode? But what did I ignore for too long? When you stop ignoring it, the explosions fade. What remains is steadier, quieter, and finally, truly calm.